For a lot of reasons, it's probably one of the most important life skills, learning how to do hard things.
Yeah.
So how do you teach your kids to do hard things?
Let's find out.
Stick around till the end. Way back in graduate school, I had an opportunity to learn a lot about self-esteem.
Okay. That's a hot topic. Everyone knows,
It
always
is.
talking about, I want my child to have high self-esteem.
And you know what? There was some misunderstandings that came out about what causes self-esteem to be high or to go low.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd think that it's tied to achievement or accomplishment or whatever.
Right.
Well, there was some powerful, groundbreaking research that was published through the APA that showed self-esteem is mostly tied to seeing yourself taking on hard things.
Not even just doing the hard thing,
Not
but taking
even
it
succeeding.
on. Yeah.
But seeing yourself taking it on. If you see yourself running away from hard things, your self-esteem takes a dive.
It does.
And that is really compelling to me. It suggests that it's more important for us to not only ourselves take on hard things, but to assist our children to do the same thing, because that's what's going to bolster their self-esteem, their confidence, their ability to move forward and really succeed in life.
So you're saying, I feel like a lot of times parents are like, I have to make sure he's good at this so that his self-esteem will be good.
No.
Yeah.
In fact, it's counterproductive if you take on only easy things to make
Right.
sure that they succeed.
Right.
Now, your job is not to make sure that they anything.
Right.
Can we go back to that for just a minute? I gotta
Number
get
one
on my
parenting
soapbox.
rule.
Your job is what?
To love them no matter what and even if.
Listen to the lady here, because that is profound. It's not your job to make sure that they anything. And if you get distracted, I think that was a good point, Vicki, because we get distracted sometimes thinking, well, I want to make sure my child has a successful experience
Right.
with this sport or with this artistic endeavor or whatever, and everybody gets a trophy, right? That's not what builds the self-esteem. It's seeing yourself taking on these hard things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's ways that we can interact with our kids and reinforce that idea. In fact, you've shared one with me that I thought was really helpful.
I think it's really important, and we've seen a lot about this in some of the research too, is that you praise the effort rather than the result.
Yeah.
And, I think you can be specific about your praise of the effort. I am so impressed at how you really stuck with that task.
Right. That they gave it their effort and they took it on. They didn't shrink from the task. Mm-hmm. That's the part that we want to reinforce and to praise and to help them experience this, I can do hard things.
Right. And a lot of the times you're just commenting about what they did and maybe seeing how they feel about it, kind of checking in with them about how they feel about it. Maybe not even, maybe the word praise is even too strong, because raising a child who is seeking praise all the time isn't the best thing for their self-esteem either. So kind of just explaining to them or commenting about their efforts and what they've done and talking about how it is showing up for them and how it's impressive that they were able to do a hard thing.
Your comment triggered something for me too, Vicki, because I think we want to draw out of them their own internalized reasons for doing this, and so that they don't depend on our praise or adoration, because that's not what's going to build their self-esteem.
Right.
Seeing themselves taking on hard things is what's going to build their self-esteem. And so we can draw out from them, how did you feel as you took that on?
Yeah.
Wow, that was courageous.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. And then they can own that feeling and maybe start to connect also with how they felt about taking it on in the first place. There's a reason why this is so important too. Okay, this is a psychological concept that I think we all need to understand, and it's the difference between hard easy and easy hard.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about here?
Yeah, but explain it to us, because it's kind of a conundrum.
Yeah. Here's the basic premise, and we want to teach our kids this, okay? You can do the easy thing now and create a harder life for yourself moving forward.
Right.
Or you can do the hard thing now and create an easier life for yourself moving forward. So a kid might have the choice between, okay, I'm going to sit here and get my homework done and then I'll go play.
Right.
All right, what's hard? Homework or play?
Well, definitely getting the homework done. That's a
Right.
hard thing.
It is. How hard? Well, it's not too hard. They can do
Right.
it. But if they'll do the homework now and then go play, they are more likely, and I think this is borne out in the research, they are more likely to get a scholarship, to get a high-paying job, to have a more healthy and satisfied relationship
Right.
when
Yeah.
they're older, as opposed to the kids who will go do the easy thing first and then create a harder life for themselves because they're failing the class now, or the teacher's nagging them about where's the homework, or they're getting into conflicts with their
Right.
parents.
Yeah.
So you do the hard thing now, you create an easier life for yourself later on. This is true for adults too.
Oh, definitely. And it's true in parenting itself.
Yes.
To do the hard things sometimes first.
Oh, yeah.
And then that makes it easier in the long run. Or do the easy thing
It
and
would
then
be
it's harder.
easier to just bail your kid out or to rescue them
Mm-hmm.
from a consequence.
Easier for you. But remember, our
Right.
whole premise is how are we helping to build self-esteem in our children? And actually, when
Right.
we bail our children out, we are sending the message, I don't really trust you to be able to handle this.
Now, we're getting to a whole different level here.
Right.
Because as a parent, for you to teach your child to do hard things, what do you really believe about that? Do you believe that your child can do hard things?
Yeah. And I think it's really important to kind of take a step back and look at it and find out, do I believe it? And how
Yeah.
can I get behind that belief?
If you don't believe it, you're going to coddle them. You're going to soft pedal it. I just had an interview last week on my podcast with Gabe Adams.
Okay.
If you want to check that out, you can go to Live on Purpose Radio, look up this title. No arms, no legs, no problem. Okay, that just puts the context around it. Gabe has no arms and no legs. He is the only adopted child of 14 kids in his family. If you got a kid without arms and legs, what do you want to do? Well, do things for him,
Right.
right? Help
Because you
him out.
assume they can't do a lot of things.
And
right?
Gabe's like, yeah, I'd tell my parents, hey, you just do it for me. I haven't got any arms or legs. And they're like, well, figure it out, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like they believed he could do hard things. And that has served that young man so well, because now he is such an inspiring force in this world as he shares his ability to do things that for you and I wouldn't be that hard. For a guy without arms and legs, wow. I mean, shampooing his own hair, making a pot of macaroni and cheese. Just try to wrap your head around that. Do you believe that your kids can do hard things? Because if you don't, you won't expect them to do it. And you'll put them in a harder position in their own life. And that's going to eat away at their self-esteem.
I have one more tip, I think, in a way, or maybe it's more of a concept to wrap your head around.
Okay.
And that is, I think as we reframe what a mistake is, it makes all the difference in the world. Now, remember, we
good
talked
point.
about
Good
praising
point.
effort. At one of the schools I work at, we have the saying, fail is a first attempt in learning. And I think it's so important to help our children see that when they fail, it's just a part of the process. They're experimenters, they're scientists, they're learning things. And that builds their self-esteem. Like, oh, okay, well, I just learned one way that's not going to work. And so I'm going to try another thing. And that lets them know that making the effort and trying is maybe more important than whatever it is that they're trying to accomplish in the end. But that first attempt in learning is that's all it is. It's just an attempt in the learning.
This is part of the recipe for success. I mentioned my podcast earlier. I've interviewed so many successful people who agree with that. And I'm thinking of some titles. John Maxwell, Failing Forward.
Right.
I'm thinking of what Robert Kiyosaki used to teach, teacher of personal finance. And he said, if you want to succeed, start failing faster.
Yeah.
So this is not a new idea, and we're taking this out of the preschool and into the big leagues here. This is the way that you prepare your child to truly succeed. Get them to do hard things and believe that they can. Part of the good news is we don't have to do hard things on our own, and that's why we've created a community. If you've stumbled across some ways that really work for you as you teach your kids to do hard things, would you share that down in the comments? Let's get some discussion going. I love the way you guys interact with each other and share your ideas, and that's going to trigger us for future topics as well.
Check out the Parenting Power Up. You can find the link right over here or down in the comments. We look forward to being a part of your team.
I saw her standing in the street.